President Donald Trump dropped a bombshell. He has canceled the high-profile trip to Islamabad, Pakistan. Before I get into the deeper analysis, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because geopolitics doesn't sleep. Today is April 26, 2026, and we're on day 58 of the Iran war, the conflict that's been rocking the Middle East, spiking oil prices, and sending shockwaves through global markets since it kicked off on February 28th with devastating U.S.-Israeli strikes that reportedly took out Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Just hours ago, President Donald Trump dropped a bombshell. He has canceled the high-profile trip of his top envoys Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to Islamabad, Pakistan, for what was supposed to be a critical round of indirect ceasefire and peace talks with Iran. This isn't some minor diplomatic hiccup. This is a dramatic escalation in the stalled negotiations, and every major outlet from Axios, The New York Times, Al Jazeera, The Guardian, CBS News, and beyond is leading with it. In this video, we're going deep with a full timeline, exact quotes, the real reasons behind the cancellation, Iran's side of the story, and my personal no BS analysis on what this means for the war, the region, global energy, and Trump's art of the deal playbook. Stick around till the end for my take on whether this is genius leverage or a dangerous gamble. Let's dive in. First, let's get the facts straight and on point, straight from the reporting. According to multiple sources, including Reuters, NYT, Fox News, Axios, and CBS, President Trump unilaterally called off the planned Saturday trip by Steve Witkoff, his trusted special envoy, often described as a real estate heavyweight with deep Trump ties, and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law and former senior advisor to Islamabad. The envoys were supposed to engage in indirect talks mediated by Pakistan with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, sometimes spelled Iraqi. This was meant to be the second major round after earlier efforts, including a trip by Vice President J.D. Vance earlier this month that also yielded little progress. Pakistan has positioned itself as the neutral broker, a role it's played before in regional diplomacy. What triggered the cancellation? Timing is everything. Iranian FM Araghchi arrived in Islamabad, held meetings only with Pakistani officials, Prime Minister, Army Chief, Foreign Minister, delivered Iran's counterproposal, and then left for Oman. He explicitly did not commit to sitting down with the U.S. delegation. Shortly after his departure, literally within an hour or so, Trump announced the cancellation. Trump posted on Truth Social, "I just canceled the trip of my representatives going to Islamabad, Pakistan, to meet with the Iranians. Too much time wasted on traveling, too much work. Besides which, there is tremendous infighting and confusion within their leadership. Nobody knows who is in charge, including them. Also, we have all the cards, they have none. If they want to talk, all they have to do is call." He doubled down in interviews with Fox News, telling them, "I've told my people a little while ago they were getting ready to leave, and I said, nope, you're not making an 18-hour flight to go there. We have all the cards. They can call us any time they want." He called the Iranian proposal a paper that should have been better, and later noted they sent something much better shortly after the cancellation, but still not enough. He emphasized they wouldn't be meeting the leader of the country, but lower-level folks, calling the whole thing a waste. Axios reported the trip was designed to break the diplomatic stalemate after Trump had unilaterally extended a fragile ceasefire earlier in the week. But progress? Zero. Araghchi later posted on X thanking Pakistan but questioning if the U.S. was truly serious about diplomacy. Other outlets piled on. NYT called it the latest sign of how far apart the two sides are on reaching a deal to end the war. CBS framed it as Trump saying the envoys are no longer going. Al Jazeera's Day 58 update highlights the stall in Tehran-Washington talks amid the broader conflict. To understand why this matters, we need context on Day 58. The war erupted February 28, 2026, amid years of escalating tensions over Iran's nuclear program, proxy activities, and regional influence. U.S.-Israeli strikes targeted Iranian nuclear sites, military infrastructure, and reportedly hit top leadership, including Khamenei. Iran retaliated, aggressively closing or mining parts of the Strait of Hormuz through which 20% of global oil flows, launching missiles and activating proxies. Casualties have mounted on all sides. The U.S. imposed a naval blockade on Iranian ports, crippling their economy and shipping. Oil prices spiked to over $100 a barrel at points before Trump's jawboning and ceasefire efforts helped stabilize them somewhat. A fragile ceasefire was announced recently, partly to prevent spillover into Lebanon, where Israel Houthi or Hezbollah dynamics were heating up, but it's been extended unilaterally by Trump while diplomacy dragged. Pakistan's role. Islamabad has hosted multiple rounds. VP Vance visited recently. The US sent a 15-point proposal. Iran countered with what's being called a maximum sovereignty framework, rejecting caps on uranium enrichment, demanding immediate and unconditional lifting of the naval blockade, and framing talks as impossible. Under threat or blockade, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian reportedly told Pakistani leaders Tehran won't negotiate while under siege. Sticking points remain classic: Iran's nuclear stockpile and enrichment levels echoing JPOA fights from the first Trump term, control of Hormuz for freedom of navigation, sanctions relief, and regional de-escalation. Iran insists the blockade must go first. The US says Iran must show seriousness on nukes and end destabilizing behavior. This latest trip was hyped as a potential breakthrough. White House had signaled Kushner and Witkoff heading out Friday or Saturday, then poof, canceled. Now my personal analysis starts here, and I'm going to be detailed and truthful. This move screams classic Trump negotiation style, the art of the deal in real time on the world stage. He's not sending high-profile envoys Kushner, who brokered Abraham Accords. Witkoff, a loyalist halfway around the world for photo ops or low-level chit-chat. By canceling publicly and loudly, he's signaling maximum leverage. We're winning, you're suffering, call us when you're serious. He's absolutely right on the travel waste angle from a pure efficiency standpoint. 18-hour flights, jet lag, security costs for what? Indirect talks via Pakistan where the other side ghosts you? Trump's cost-conscious businessman side is showing too much traveling, too expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person. But there's deeper calculus. He's betting Iran's economy is cracking under the blockade. Oil exports throttled, currency tanking, internal pressure mounting. His claim of tremendous infighting and confusion within their leadership, whether fully accurate or not, Iran denies it, paints Tehran as chaotic and leaderless post-Khamenei. It weakens their negotiating position psychologically. We have all the cards isn't just bravado. U.S. military superiority demonstrated in the opening strikes, naval dominance in the Gulf, alliances with Israel and Gulf states. It's a strong hand. By saying call us, he flips the script. Iran has to come to the table on U.S. terms, not vice versa, and that much better paper arriving 10 minutes after cancellation. Classic Trump: create urgency, force better offers. Critics will say this risks escalation. If talks collapse entirely, does the ceasefire hold? Could Iran lash out again at shipping or proxies? Global markets are watching energy prices, inflation, even U.S. midterm politics. Trump doesn't want a hot war dragging into elections. From my view, this is high-stakes poker, but Trump plays it better than most. History shows prolonged pressure works on Iran. See Maximum Pressure Campaign 1.0. But Iran has survived worse: resilient regime, asymmetric tools. The naval blockade is a double-edged sword, effective economically, but risks humanitarian fallout and international backlash if prolonged. Fairness demands we cover Iran's side too. Aragki and Tehran argue the U.S. isn't serious about diplomacy while maintaining the blockade and threats. Their counteroffer prioritizes sovereignty, lift the siege first, then talk enrichment and everything else. They see the U.S. as dictating terms from a position of aggression. Pakistan deserves credit here, shuttling messages, hosting delegations despite its own internal issues and ties to both sides. China's Belt and Road partner, U.S. ally history, but mediation has limits when core demands clash. Al Jazeera's framing as Tehran-Washington talks stall captures the exhaustion on day 58. War fatigue is real on all sides. Iran's economy is hurting. U.S. faces domestic pressure over costs and casualties. Let's zoom out for the big picture analysis. This cancellation isn't the end of talks. Trump left the door open, call us, but it resets expectations. No quick deal in Pakistan means prolonged stalemate or back-channel efforts. Geopolitically, oil and economy, Hormuz remains a flashpoint. Any resumption of hostilities could send prices to 150 plus. Trump's jawboning has helped, but sustained blockade impacts everyone. Nuclear risk, Iran's program hasn't been dismantled. Enrichment continues. Long-term threat. Regional alliances, Israel watches closely. Any deal must address proxies. Hezbollah, Houthis, Gulf states want stability but fear Iranian revival. China or Russia angle, both back Iran to varying degrees. China wants cheap oil. Russia distraction from Ukraine, U.S. domestic. Trump looks decisive, but if war drags, public support erodes. Personally, I see this as Trump maximizing U.S. leverage while avoiding unnecessary entanglement. He's not the forever war guy. He wants deals, but all the cards only works if you're willing to play them. Iran knows Trump prefers deals over endless conflict. That's their counter-leverage. Is infighting real in Tehran? Post-leadership hits, factions, hardliners vs pragmatists likely are scrambling. Pezeshkian's government walks a tightrope. Optimistic take, pressure forces Iran to a better deal soon. Denuclearization elements, regional calm. Pessimistic, stalemate leads to miscalculation, wider war. What do you think? Drop your takes in the comments. Will Iran call Trump's bluff? Should the US ease the blockade for talks? This story is evolving fast. I'll update as more breaks. If you want deeper dives on the war timeline, nuclear details, or economic impacts, comment below or check my previous videos. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share with friends who need real analysis, not sound bites. Stay informed, stay skeptical. See you in the next one.